Conscious Collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, guys? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Emily, and we are the Conscious Collaboration Podcast. What up, Lisa?
Oh, just another day in paradise.
Just another day in paradise, ticking off the boxes.
It is really paradise
Things
right now.
scheduled, lined up, back to back. You feeling the pressure a little bit right now? I am.
Yeah, it's been full days,
Yeah.
ramping up.
Full days. And I wanted to kind of grab the wheel today with that subject and bring in, some of my wheelhouse, which the health and fitness stuff, and kind of talk about an idea that I've been dealing with myself, particularly over the past few weeks, kind of trying to get all my ducks in a row. And I feel like a lot of our listeners can probably relate to where I'm going with this. So, as Lisa and I were mentioning, we both have extremely packed schedules right now. And as entrepreneurs, that's actually not really an abnormal thing. We're always busy. There's always something we could be doing, in theory, but with that, and I want to backtrack a little bit, and even though we mention this in most episodes, and we try to tie in the health and fitness aspect, I want to just say that especially if you're an entrepreneur, and you do not have a regular health and fitness regimen at this time, it's time. It's time. You can go back to our big booty energy episode, and really any of our episodes, to kind of find out more about that. But in essence, the stronger your body, the more healthy, the better your body feels, the absolutely better you are going to show up in all aspects of your life, but especially in business. The physically stronger you are, the more that's going to transfer over to mental strength, endurance, stamina, resiliency, which are all super important things to consider as an entrepreneur, as parents, as single parents, and in all the things that we do. So that little mini TED Talk was just to say, if you guys aren't on a regular fitness regimen of some sort, it is time to get that going. I promise it will pay dividends in every facet of your life. But moving on from that, when you already have a packed schedule and you find that either because of how your business is going, or because of something that you've chosen to take on, or something that you have not chosen to take on that you are being forced to take on, the pressure really starts to rise, and it starts to become more and more difficult to find the space to put in for your health and fitness activities. Especially if it's not a habit that's been solidified for years in your life, especially if it's a newer habit. So I wanted to talk about how that can happen with everybody, and talk about, some ways that we can make sure that we keep our health and fitness as a priority, our mind-body practices as a priority, even amidst a crazy packed work, business, and personal goals schedule, perhaps, and to not let any of those aspects suffer, so that then, the extra work that you're doing in your business does not suffer. It will instead be enhanced. So,
Yeah. It's
and
always the first
that,
way to go.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it can be, right? Like, and if you find that it is, that's a time to examine your mindset,
Mhm.
right? Because um at no point in our life should our health and fitness actually be something that falls
Right.
between the cracks, that is
Yeah, I
not
can't tell you
prioritized.
how many times I've been to networking meetings or whatnot, and we're talking about hobbies or things that we like to do, and I always share, just so you know, I'm always saying, like, I have this great workout, trainer, I see her several times a week, and this is what I do, and I always hear like, "Oh, I love strength training," or, "I love yoga, and, I love it so much, but I haven't done it in the past 6 weeks because 'cause I've been so busy." And I know that's
Mhm.
something I really have to get
And
back
what's
into.
the saying, right? Like, X out, I don't have time for.
Right, 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 and it's like a
It is a
total, like
choice.
it's like a total loss of momentum, though, in that part,
Mhm.
like, you know no one realizes how fast 6 weeks goes by and that you have a
Mhm.
a gap in your routine, but it starts to become like an unhabit at that
Well,
point,
yeah, I
like,
mean, if
it's a memory.
you've gone 6 weeks without doing something, yeah, I'd say it's an unhabit.
Yeah, it's an
If that's something we just made up, but it makes sense.
right, unravel the
Yeah,
habit. I guess it takes,
yeah.
like, what is I think I learned this, like, when I was quitting smoking, but it takes 21 days to build a habit,
That's
and,
what they
like,
say. I've done some mild research on it since then, and there's a lot of differing
yeah.
thought processes on that. I've seen that it can take as long as like a year. I think
Mhm.
it just kind of depends on what the habit is, the intensity. I don't know if intensity, but the drasticness with which the habit changes your life,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
the intensity and
Different
the
factors.
the intentionality of it too.
Mhm,
Like, are you just
mhm.
going through the motions, or are you really showing up for
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, and that's, you've got like the strategy of like habit stacking, which I think is pretty effective because it breaks it down into more manageable. It breaks larger goals down into more manageable tasks. So I
Mm.
think that's a good way for people to approach a lot of goals in life, including this one. But I so this topic came to me not just because I have a really busy schedule, but I've taken on something specifically, um a personal and career related goal for myself, that requires a pretty extensive amount of time to achieve, and that is that I'm going to do a fitness competition, of a different sort than the weightlifting competition that we've talked about before that I did back in 21. This one is more physique oriented. It's not a true pure bodybuilding competition as this sport is kind of popularly known, but it's a kind of a hybrid between a bodybuilding and a fashion show or a pageant kind of situation. So, uh, even though training, regularly is nowhere near a new habit to me, there's a lot of other things. You have to be very precise in this process as far as your eating, your sleeping, everything that contributes to recovery, and even things like the amount of foods that you're eating that potentially bloat you and make you retain water, and all sorts of things of that nature. So it is, even though it is just adding on to habits that I was already doing, I'm having to um arrange them in a different way. So We can kind of use that like as a context for the tips and ideas
Yeah.
here, but one of the and this is really hard as an air sign. I'm going to just blame it on being an air sign. But it can be pretty tough to be a planner and to make schedules and things like that. But in taking this on, I've found that I literally have to plan by the half hour, if not more precisely, in my day. Um, and so I've had to become a planner. And I think the two most important things in this process in making sure that you keep your health and fitness and your mind body practices going despite a crazy busy schedule is planning and prioritization, right? So, you as with any undertaking, I think you span out and you get a baseline, right? Like in nursing, before you make any changes, or in, nutrition as well.
Mhm.
If you're making some changes to a diet, before you make any changes, you want to really look at what already exists and, then make your changes from there.
Mhm.
And I've found pretty immediately that, okay, one of the things that I am going to have to do to make this happen is to wake up pretty significantly earlier than I have been. Most times, either in the late 4 o'clock hour or the early 5 o'clock hour. And there comes in the prioritization element. Now, there's going to be a handful of things to get done before 9 a.m.
Mhm.
And I have to try to put as many of the most important things that can be done in that time period as I can.
Right.
Now, being that I consider my health and fitness practices and my mind body practices to be very important things right alongside with any of the business or work things, that's when and that tends to be a really good time to get some of those things done. That's when I've decided to include a daily 5-minute meditation, a morning meditation in front of my Atapa Red Light. And then I get at least 30 minutes of light cardio, um, AKA me walking up and down the steps at my apartment
Mhm. Mhm.
at 5:30 in the morning, to get some cardio in and to get a good chunk of my allotted 9K daily steps in, so that once I
Mhm.
start that day at 9 o'clock, I've already got a good chunk of my essential mind body practices complete.
That's amazing. That's a good a commitment to yourself and being self-disciplined and being able to change habits that I mean, you have these healthy
Well,
habits, but to
yeah, I have woken up early before for long periods of
yeah.
time in life, and that's fine, but it's like this said, prioritization, like how bad do you want what you
Mhm.
want?
Yeah.
How bad do you want it? Yes, we do need to create some time for just complete disconnection, social connection, a complete disconnection from work or business,
Yeah.
social connection, things just purely to feed our soul. But that, especially when you're taking on a very specific
Mhm.
goal like I am, you really have to plan for those things, and you have to be very intentional about
Yeah.
them.
You can't just
And
wing it.
you
You can't
know
just go like, I'm gonna
right, right, it can't be like Wednesday happy hour with the
show up.
girls, and then because I mean everything down to my sleep right now is pretty much pre-mapped out.
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing to touch on as well. Now, when it gets this tight, you do have to be very precise You do have to be very intentional. You do have to plan a lot. That said, you still have to have some contingency time, some flexibility,
Right.
right? Because life happens, unplanned things happen, and you take longer sometimes in doing something that you had intended. Things happen. So if you don't want to just crash and burn because your whole schedule went to shit, you also have to find that balance of having some flexibility, some contingency, even in the best, most precise schedule, to sort of allow for that life to happen. That's another place that the prioritization comes in, because if you've already gotten a good majority of your most important things done in the earlier part of the day, that can help you to shift and rearrange things for
Yeah.
the end of the day to work for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Now, you are a person who has been showing up for
mhm.
almost 3 years now,
Yeah. In my mind,
twice
it's
a
been
week,
longer.
like clockwork. Well, 3
Right.
years is a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Twice a week, like clockwork. I think you missed one session when you went to Costa Rica,
Right.
and, maybe another one here or there in 3 years, but they were accounted for on a different day.
Mhm.
So, incorporating, and you have other that's your strength training.
Mhm.
She has
Mhm.
other health and fitness habits. She walks and
Tennis on
other
occasion.
meditations
Yeah.
and her things like that. So but you're a pretty good authority on how to keep those health and fitness habits, those mind body habits in yourself for years,
Mhm.
um without swaying too much. And it shows too. It's a good example that's counter to mine, where I'm strength training normally 5 to 6 times a week. That's just what I like to do. That's
Mhm.
what I've been doing, and it's part of my job. So that's a nice contrast of, someone who has a different but still very regular and very important health and fitness regimen, who's been able to really stick with it. So why don't you let us know how you've been able to achieve that over the years?
Oh, me? Um,
Mhm. Oh,
yeah, I
me?
mean, I think that yeah, doing the strength training with you in those 2 days, that's been a real long commitment for me, but I think it's always been ingrained in me that I have to have some type of movement and meditation, and I've always from a very young age, though, always had something. I don't rarely, I mean, I rarely have any excuses. I do know when I first started out in entrepreneurship, I did let some things go a little bit in terms of, but also I had a baby at that time too.
Mm, yeah.
I wasn't waking up at 5 o'clock and going to boot camp at that time.
Sure, sure, sure.
But I did have like my free weights and kettlebell and stuff at home that I was doing with the baby and starting the business and all that. But I think it's a commitment, like we were talking about in the last episode, when we were talking about what was it the last episode about? Oh, like people pleasing,
Fixer.
Star mode, yeah. So, but it came up in that conversation, making a commitment to, fixers always want to like overcompensate and like do the work for other people. But in that episode, we were talking about asking of our clients that are doing work with us to make that commitment to themselves. And so like in working with you, I think it's, to me, investing in a program that's like a certain amount
Mhm.
of hours a month is like, the financial commitment is like an investment to me.
True.
And then
Mhm.
mentally, I'm agreeing like this is a part of my life. It's scheduled on my calendar. I can't miss it.
Yes.
And it's my responsibility, because if I fall off the track, well, it's going to be really uncomfortable when I come back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Going to set me back and it's going to feel terrible. But if I do it the right way, like the gains I make in fitness and in strength training are felt the rest of the day.
Mhm.
So it starts me off in like a good, like we were talking about momentum,
Mhm.
touched on that a
So
little.
yeah, well, we always talk about scheduling things in as a form of, commitment. Because that's something that I find a lot of people fall off with their workouts, especially is if they don't schedule them. It's like, oh, well, I should work out, or I should try to get a workout in today, but 9 times out of 10, if that's the language, if that's the mindset, then it's not
Not going to
happening.
happen.
And it continues to happen. So taking it, you are saying taking it a level even beyond scheduling it. So the scheduling part of it provides some commitment, and then the actual human element
I think getting a
to
mentor
be
is
accountable
like,
to, yeah, a coach
yeah, getting
is
a coach or a mentor is
big.
like a big, I mean, I think it's a worthwhile investment because it keeps you accountable. You're not going to like sacrifice on form just to get things done, or, I'll complete my 3 sets, even though I only want
Mhm,
to do two. Um, but yeah, I think that that is a significant game changer, rather than just, I mean, I think I do well on my own. But
mhm,
I think the return shows greater when there's a coach or a trainer. Um,
mhm.
even
And
more so
then
accountability partner, because a lot of people say, well, just get an
yeah,
accountability partner. But I'm really good at talking people into things.
yeah,
And, so I'm not sure that like even just like an accountability partner would be sufficient.
yeah. Yeah, and I think it was important that you mentioned the financial investment piece of it too. If you are financially invested in something, you are more inclined to use
Yeah, you're
it
more
and show
committed.
up
Yeah.
and
Most people.
do do what you're doing versus, if I mean, some people can totally do this, but if you're not a person who does well with home workouts and
Yeah.
things like that, then
Well, you can YouTube anything for free, but I still think like in certain terms, like even like business coaches, fitness, I believe in too, but like uh it- it- you could go down the line on it. I mean, you can get free stuff on feng shui off the internet too, but when you make the financial investment in that like connection with somebody else that's going to guide you, um,
Mhm.
and kind of like steer the path, like you're probably not going to get through any like plateaus in learning or anything advancement in your routine on your own, or through like, no, YouTube's not going to tell you like, let's go on to the next thing. It's
Yeah, and probably, wasting time like researching things that you don't need to look at and things like that. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think it's
Yeah.
definitely useful at least for a time.
Yeah.
Depending
It's
on
better
your
than nothing. It's better than nothing to do something, but
absolutely.
yeah, for sure. But I think it does give you an edge when you like fully commit to something as like it's more than just a hobby. It's, you know,
Mhm.
an
Mhm.
investment in who I am.
Right. Yeah, I've hired my posing coach for my competition, and that definitely
Yeah.
gives me an incentive to actually, because that is one habit that I have not had, which is putting on heels, for 5 minutes most days a week and strutting around practicing posing. That
Mhm.
is a habit I'm having to build right now, and certainly having that financial investment in that coach and the scheduling investment. I've got a session with her tomorrow, in fact, definitely helps me to keep on my game with that.
Yeah, that's really cool. She seems like she's like a real expert, to
She
learn
is.
from. Yeah, and that gives
She's
you a
fun.
much bigger
Mhm.
edge than anything. I mean, it advances your presence so much more than just
Mhm.
taking it on your own.
Mhm.
I mean, we were like, oh, I can walk in heels, but like to be able to
Right.
combine that with.
Oh, I would never. Yeah, I did not have the knowledge base to do all this stuff that we're doing now. Like, I can YouTube it. There's lots of free posing stuff on YouTube,
Sure.
but for
Yeah.
her to be able to look at me and my physique and my particular things and be able to correct it and make it so much better is
Yeah. And you've come a long way in
pretty
like a
essential.
short period of time.
Yeah.
Like how
Yeah.
long has it
I didn't
been?
know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really huge. I can't believe like September is going to be here before we know it.
Well, it will. I just got to
Yeah.
keep showing up, keep prepping and planning and scheduling and executing and you know.
Yeah. I like that you're able to stay on your game and like in your element and focus and driven, but you give yourself like educated uh passes. No.
Yeah, I
You give
mean,
yourself some like leeway too, like to have not only like wiggle room in your business day, but like in your social life too. You're not going, you're accommodating for going out and having
a
some
little bit,
yeah.
a little bit. Yeah. And I think psychologically to get through something that's so intensive and so tough, it's crucial to incorporate a little bit of those things and to really have a grip on how much of that I'm incorporating. But like you can put that in the example of food.
Mhm.
I love pizza. Um, Pizza tends to not be the most macro friendly item, but knowing that I love pizza and knowing that if I get to eat pizza, say weekly, I will be a lot more likely to stick with my meal plan, my macros for the rest of the week, then I, found a specific pizza that has, that I can fit
Yeah.
into my macros, eating the whole thing. Right? Because I love that.
Yeah.
I just love that mentally, like sitting in front of the couch on a Sunday night and eating a whole pizza.
Yeah.
So, but obviously if I just did that from any old pizza place, I would quickly sabotage my goals. So I
Mhm.
found an appropriate pizza. I account for that in the rest of my days eating, in the rest of my week's eating. And I am just a happy girl. And I get to do that every Sunday, even during a fat loss phase, sit at home and I just finished Animal Kingdom, so you guys will have to give me another show to watch, but I can sit at home and watch Animal Kingdom or something
Yeah.
like it and eat a whole pizza to the face. And it is like just, it brings me a lot of joy.
Right. Joy is important.
So,
That's what fuels
when,
that fire.
yeah, so when it's, Tuesday evening and, I kind of finish my dinner and I'm like, like a little bit more food would be cool right now. I'm not that worried about it because I'm like, you know what? I get, I'll have some watermelon tonight and then I get to have my pizza on Sunday. And Sunday with this busy schedule will come before I know it. So
Yeah.
that's an example of kind of how to do that with food. And also with the social aspect of thing. Now, of course, alcohol is pretty tough to incorporate a lot of when you're in a competition prep. I don't recommend it. It besides just the caloric effects, it has, far reaching effects on your sleep and your muscle recovery and just your inhibition and your choices and
Mhm.
everything else. So I don't recommend incorporating a whole lot of alcohol in that situation or just in general, but in the same way that I can incorporate the pizza, I can incorporate a glass of Pinot Grigio. I'll usually make it go twice as long by
Yeah.
putting some water in it. And so there you go. I have one night during the weekend or day or whatever where I can enjoy two drinks or two, shots of vodka drinks with
Yeah.
some kind of low calorie mixer. Um And, I'll probably cut that stuff out in the 3 and 4 weeks, like
Oh,
before
sure.
the
Yeah.
show, just to, get rid of any inflammation and things like that. But for now, I think it really helps to keep me on track for the rest of the day. So that's the food and the alcohol. And then, the social life, like it's hard as an entrepreneur. We know that.
Mhm.
It's just hard. But if I can have a few hours on a Friday evening or a few hours on a Saturday evening that don't interfere with what I got going on in the morning, then great. Like
Yeah.
that feeds my soul just as
Yeah.
much as the pizza.
Yeah. I mean, it's sustainable too in the long
Mhm.
term.
Mhm.
So when we were talking getting together today in the pre-chat, talking about this concept, we were reading the I Ching, and I think it was again like so useful. It came up with limits and connections, and it talks about so the extremes. It says constantly swimming in a sea of boundless opportunity leads to exhaustion,
Mhm.
and winging it alone, wild and free, in a sky of unlimited directions and opportunities only leads to becoming lost. So
Right.
needing to have some kind of formation,
Mhm.
uh, like you're doing, that structure. But we often think of like structure as being limiting.
Yep.
Um,
And it
when
is to a degree. It gives
to
you
some things, yeah.
your boundaries, right, for how you move about your day. But yeah, I mean, I think that's super important for sustainability. Too, we've talked about the concept before of rigid planning versus flexible planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to have, you do want to be very precise with your schedule, especially, if you've got as much going on as any human would have with a contest prep. But
Mhm.
whatever packs your schedule, same kind of thing. You want to understand that life happens, and not because if you go along the rigid lines, then what happens when you're not adaptable?
Yeah.
What happens when life inevitably does happen and your plans get shifted or thrown off entirely? You could just instead freak out and go, dead bug, and just be like, I don't know what to do. Like that,
Or
so
be totally derailed and like think that you
exactly.
failed because you've
Well, yeah, that's exactly. So
gone off path.
you just, give up, or whatever.
Mhm.
And not a good outcome.
Yeah.
Basically, if you don't, it's kind of that idea of, releasing control over things that you don't have control over. You do have control over what you're doing with your schedule to some degree.
Yeah.
So, it's doing what you can with what you have,
Yeah.
but understanding that it may not look exactly how you have it planned out. But that way, where you have that structure in front of you, you can see where you can move and shift to, ensure that you're still getting your priorities checked off, and that you're
Yeah.
not going too far off the wagon.
Yeah. You can see the needle being pushed forward, which I
Mhm.
definitely see in you. Like, I don't know when you started prepping, but you've like significantly like I would say I think I would use the word like refinement. So like if without the
Mhm.
structures, like for any of us, and especially air signs, and like you always talk about that bubble popper ball and all the balls,
Mhm,
that
mhm,
toy
mhm.
with all the balls
The
in the
toy, the stupid
popcorn
vacuum
machine thing,
pop pop
the vacuum bubble
toy.
popper thing.
Yes.
I'm so glad mine's gone. But it's kind of like funneling. It's like funneling everything down, like refining. Uh,
Mhm.
you know,
And you know what, helps with that 1,000% already, is this inclusion of one of the things that is, I mean, I've done stuff like this before, but this is a new, like, okay, this is a habit for you now. We're in prep, like you're doing this.
Mhm.
Is my 5-minute morning meditation. 5 minutes
Yeah.
is all I'm requiring myself, and
Yeah.
I just, search something in Spotify,
Mhm.
and just let whatever person comes up first, talk
Mhm.
to me for 5 minutes. And yeah, I mean, I think that being sort of my first stimulus of the day, it really sets the tone
Yeah.
so that even when things inevitably start to get chaotic, spending hours on the phone with IT over the last few days, for example, it's like, all right, well, it is what it is. We're going to keep it moving.
Right. Yeah. And that's a huge tip to create that time and space. I mean, and even just the 5 minutes.
It just goes to show how important this stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
If I started my day with my brain in a scattered place, in the bubble vacuum toy place, then that would transfer into the rest of my day.
Yeah.
And I would be just, of course, I am exhausted by the end of these days.
Yeah.
There's just no way around that. But it's it feels like a productive exhaustion, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. It's not like
I mean, it's
oh
like
my
that.
God, how am I ever gonna peel myself up again?
Well, it's for a
It's like
purpose and a reason. Like,
yeah.
it's kind of like that exhaustion that you feel when you're pregnant and like, you're creating a person.
Oh no, that would be
I
fucking awful.
mean, that's it's terrible, but like
Yeah.
you're gonna get to like September and you will have created and achieved a new place to
Well,
be.
I do say this, I say this more in relation to childbirth pain,
Mhm.
but it was but I think you could apply it here as well to that exhaustion. It's like it's pain, but it's incredible pain, but
Mm.
you have like a positive outcome at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like running a marathon or, having a baby
Mhm.
versus pain
Forever.
from breaking my femur in half.
Right. Ugh.
Like that's like that's just
Erase,
pain
erase.
because it hurts. Sorry,
Right.
not
This is
everybody is a
intentional.
trauma
This
nurse
is
and no one wants to hear about that, but you know, um
but
it's
yeah.
just normal dinner conversation for us. Yeah, but when you have something, an outcome to look forward to from it, or it's like, even after you spend the whole day cleaning your house or your garage
Yeah.
or something, and you just sort of sit there like at the end, and it's like, I'm
Accomplished.
tired, but hell yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna just sit here and stare at this for a little while.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait. I hope I get to go.
thanks.
Are we
Yeah,
allowed to be in the audience?
yeah, hell yeah.
Gonna bring the iron yogis?
Come on, bring it on. Cheer for me.
Make signs. No, it's really
Yeah.
cool. Like I think, and I'm learning a lot just in witnessing you. Oh, I like something came to my mind. You're talking about like having your 5 minutes of meditation and that way in case something throws you off, you're able to like restabilize and get back to that place and
Yeah.
not derail.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like coming in to the studio. I think it was no, maybe it was last week, and the string lights were out.
Yeah.
And it's like,
They still
like
are. I'm upset.
they are, we need to get new
I gotta
ones.
order some new ones. Yeah, that's all. I just
Yeah.
gotta
But
get on
like
Amazon.
when you are really focused and you've got your routines, even like in terms of like environmental things that show up,
Mm-hmm.
like just your awareness is so stimulated that things like, you
Mm-hmm.
very intentionally placed string lights being out is going to be like, ha, like this is
Mm-hmm.
not my beautiful, like I always desire to see like start of my day, like, but you recentered and regain and refocus and, but
Yeah.
you're
How important
doing
is
more.
your environment when you're trying to stabilize in a crazy busy, and it's not just one busy day, right? We're talking when your schedule is packed, you got day
Yeah.
after day after day, not just contest prep, but I mean, there's
Mhm.
lots of situations as an entrepreneur slash parent slash person with their own life kind
Yeah.
of thing. Um, yeah. And so like if you're trying to achieve all that in a cluttered space or a space that doesn't have your like
Intentionally placed
optimal
objects.
flow in
Yeah.
mind,
Well, I mean,
then
like
that's gonna have an effect on your
we both
performance.
do. We both have like the intentional spaces when we're working. Like you put, oils in your diffuser and you have your lights
Mhm,
turned on in
mhm,
certain
mhm,
spots,
mhm,
and you have to have your music on and you have to
mhm,
have
mhm.
certain lights on or off. Um, and and that's actually helpful to reinforce and to support you when you're doing a lot of things to have that like connect.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So and maybe we can do a whole episode about this. I think this would be a good topic, but like, and it would be a good topic to relate to fitness. So maybe we'll just do a whole another episode about this. But what about when you're traveling? And let's bring
Mhm.
it back to what we're talking about, health and fitness
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
But you could probably
Mhm.
apply whatever advice you're going to give to other aspects as well.
Yeah.
But what kind of things would you suggest, without bringing your whole environment with you and, 50 pounds worth of crystals or whatever on the plane? How, what are some ways that you can, manage your environment when you travel to stay on to a really
Oh,
busy schedule and to stay on your health and fitness and mind and body regimens?
yeah. Well, I was thinking about a couple different things because I mean, like even when I went to Costa Rica and I missed a day of training, and while I was in Costa Rica on a different schedule, and in a bunch of different Airbnbs, like every night, a different
Mhm,
place, part of the country. I did the hiking. I did things that were weight bearing. Some of some of
mhm.
them not, it didn't equal the amount of weight that I was doing with you.
Of course.
But something, in terms of like that muscle memory, and the yoga, like we looked up trainers in the area or yoga teachers that we could meet while we were traveling. And in terms of environment, it was, and the sleep schedules, were a little bit of a time difference there. So it meant
Right.
like, um, my rule is like when things get hectic, even your desk space should be at least 30 to 50% clutter free. So
Mhm.
like we, kept any clutter. You know how when you travel, you like open up your suitcases and everything is all over the place.
Yeah.
Try to like put things back together. Like we kept our things like locked in the bathroom. I mean, just for security. But I mean, keeping the clutter like tucked away so that it's not impeding you from getting out at a reasonable hour to go do all the things that you want to do. And making sure that you do have beautiful vignettes in your eyesight. So that means like opening, you get to the Airbnb and everything is all shutted up and, windows and all the, blinds or whatever. Certainly if it's not clean, like just do a little bit so you have visual beauty in your eyesight. You can't pack a second, you could, but you don't want to, these days, you don't want to pack a second suitcase with all of your essential oils and crystals
Mhm.
and all of that.
If you could
It,
bring one crystal on a travel, is there a particular one you would recommend?
yeah, I would bring selenite, like,
Yeah. Mhm.
because selenite you
All
can
purpose.
all
Yeah.
purpose, you can clear, you can charge.
Cleansing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Good.
I think that's a great one to bring ever anywhere. But yeah, I mean, uh, I think that for entrepreneurs and certainly when you're training or you're undergoing routines, light is the greatest manifestation of chi. And
Mm.
it's the easiest way to activate a space. And that's why like it's so nourishing feeling to you to have the lights on in certain places. That might mean like you have a lit area in your Airbnb that you wouldn't normally leave lit,
Mhm.
just to have like that beauty and not to feel like you're in a cave. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and like plants too.
Mhm.
Can you imagine your spaces without plants at this point?
No, no, it's hard to even look at, pictures of the studio before I put
Mhm.
plants in it.
Yeah, it feels so lonely
So if
without
you
plants.
can't bring a plant with you when you travel, should you just go
The
steal it
windows.
from outside?
Yeah. No, I mean, you should have the windows, like
Okay,
use the windows. If it's in a nice, pretty environment, use the windows as your like
fine.
plants. But, I guess if you don't,
Okay.
you
Lisa is not endorsing stealing plants.
know, but I mean, I won't tell
Okay.
anyone if that's what you have to do for your mental health.
Gotcha.
So,
Officer, it
yeah,
was for my mental health.
yeah,
Maybe that's
yeah.
a good sort of
Self-defense.
carry-all excuse. Yeah. Self-care
At least make them stop and think
officer.
before you get arrested.
Just give them a piece of selenite.
Oh, they're so confused. Yeah. Um, yes, which I have found that if you do have a crystal on you and someone is coming at you for some money hard,
Throw it at them.
if you no, you don't throw it. I just
Oh,
give them a
sorry.
crystal
Don't
and
throw it at them.
self-defense. And you can also use this crystal for self-defense. I mean, I give it to
Yeah.
I
Selenite's too soft for self-defense.
right.
You have those big, amazing selenite knives, but I don't think you could actually like
I
murder
mean, make
someone.
it a selenite crystal. I mean, like a sliver in your like a splinter. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but even then, like your bodily fluids would soften it.
You could blow some dust.
Hmm.
That.
Who knew this was going to turn into a
Wrinkle.
self-defense episode
Oh
with
gosh.
crystals? We
Well,
should tell Shahar.
I'm so excited to see you in September. Really
Yeah.
bringing all this together because you're doing so much. And don't you feel like you're more alive and more thriving when you have this focus and intention?
Ooh. Check back in about 12 weeks. I mean, yes, no, I do. I definitely am a person who thrives off of having goals,
Mhm.
multiple goals all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, the
Always trying
opposite of
to
that is like feeling lost. If you don't have any goals
mm-hmm.
or intention, it's
Or
like, well,
apathetic. Yeah, apathetic, right?
yeah,
Like you don't really care.
like
So
you're
yeah,
more.
it keeps me engaged in life.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably true for everybody.
It's really fun to be around people that are learning too, like in terms of
Mm.
attracting
Mhm.
your people. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely been interesting to go from sort of being the expert on certain subject matter to like, and I know aspects of this, like I said, the weightlifting part
sure. Yeah.
is pretty natural to me by now, but like getting into the posing and the pageantry part, I'm like, this is, I'm a true beginner here. So that's an interesting contrast to the other stuff that I've got going on, switching from,
Mhm.
being the teacher to being the student. And it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's good. It's good vicarious energy from you, like very driven, like that,
Yeah.
that being driven and the thing and sharing the things that you're learning is good energy to be around. I mean, if anything, I think that people should, you know, be as dedicated to their health, wellness, and fitness and evolving in that.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
just
Right.
to not only for
And that
themselves.
doesn't mean that you have to ever do a competition of any kind, but
Right.
fitness and weightlifting in particular is so great because you can set goals
Mhm.
lifelong,
Mhm.
you know, until literally until you die. You can set fitness goal, and I don't just mean like losing weight, you know what I
Right.
mean? I mean more
Mhm.
like putting weight on the bar kind of thing, or adding reps, or doing certain form on a certain exercise. It could, options are limitless almost, but you can always 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 have fitness goals. But yeah, I'd be interested in, maybe doing another competition based episode, maybe like really in the thick of it, 6 weeks
Mhm.
out, or something to that effect. So I'd love to hear from you guys if there is any element of this
Mhm.
in particular that you would like to hear about. um I'm sort of this 39-year-old woman, mom who, just learned how to lift weights when she was 35. I'm 39 now. And, decided it was time to take on this this kind of fitness competition. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, let's get some updates from you. And like, I think we should do some live check-ins also in the Conscious Collaboration Collective in the Facebook group, where people can ask questions in particular, or they could send their questions in for us to answer.
Maybe I can do like a live posing session and y'all can like cheer or boo me.
Oh, okay. Like
Nobody's into that.
I think a live session would be good. I like your live yoga sessions. I think there's, I think that's good for people. I think
you guys want more live yoga? We can do yoga.
Yeah, for people to experience your energy and to see that. Like, I think the one thing about you is like, yeah, you started 4 years ago. Like, look where when you're in, you're like all in.
Yep.
There's no mediocrity at all in anything that you do. So I think it's good for people to witness. And if they have any hesitation and in taking up any kind of programming themselves, like you're like the perfect person to be a mentor to anyone that's hesitant because, it can seem intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is intimidating, but intimidating doesn't mean that you have to be intimidated by to not do, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's empowering.
Bravery is being scared to do something and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Or, something like, this shit is scary. Like, I got to get up in a bikini. I don't know how many people it's going to be, like all kinds of stuff. I'll be in 6-inch heels. I could fall on my face, all kind of things. But fuck it.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, it's like,
now. Like,
YOLO, really, honestly. Like, I mean, you probably do get more than one life, but in this vessel, YOLO.
I love it. What's the advice that you would say to people who have said, "Oh, I've always wanted to get to where you are today"?
Just start, bro.
Yeah.
Just start. Yeah. I'll just share my photos at some point. I mean, I've had lots of different starting points in my life, but my postpartum photos, basically just like I want to say, like, if I can do it, if I can get there, you can.
Yeah.
Is it easy? No. Is it going to take, a lot of dedication and commitment and discipline when you don't want to show up? Yes. But is it going to be worth it? I think so. I mean, it was the same thing when I started the business in the first place. Like, I didn't know anything about business.
Right.
But it's just like, if you don't do it, if you don't try it, you're going to be more stressed and more regretful for the rest of your life, because
there's always going to be one part of your unconscious awareness, like being wasted on like, what if I would have done this?
Absolutely.
Well, Emily, I think this has been fun. And let's do a part 2, maybe 3, like as we get closer to September and see.
Yeah. Let us know what you want to hear about specifically.
All right.
Peeps. Yeah.
Yes. We'll
the Conscious Collaboration Collective on Facebook. If you're not in it, join it.
Yes.
Come holler at us.
Yep. Come holler at us in a nice way.
Holla. Yeah, you don't want to go hollering too much. I can holler louder.
She throws crystals.
and I'll throw crystals at you and just scream.
All right, Emily, it's been real. Thanks everyone for listening to us and sending in your comments and for showing up. And I guess that's it for today. So I'll talk to you in 5 minutes.
We'll talk to you in 5. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.